wrestling fans, Bob Caudle and Johnny Weaver. Welcome to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Johnny, we're going to be seeing an exciting team, the Midnight Express, during this hour. And talking about that right here, one of the most flamboyant individuals in professional sports, the manager of the Midnight Express, Jim Cornette.
I would disagree with that, but it's true. Let me tell you something, Bob Caudle, Johnny Weaver. You know all these people in the arena, they booed me when I walked out here, and I get a little upset about that. They boo the Midnight Express. They call me a wimp and all other kinds of names. You people are ungrateful. Do you realize that? They don't realize how much I do for them. Do you know how much income tax my mother and I pay every year to go to support these failures? I mean, these people. Do you realize that? My mother sent me the financial reports the other day, and it was staggering, the cost that we have to incur because these people cannot support themselves, cannot feed their families. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for old James E. Cornette right here, you people would have to go a few days every week without that little ham sandwich in that little brown paper bag sitting next to the ditch you're digging or whatever it is you do to eke out your meager existence. So let me tell you something, from now on, if you can't say anything good about me and the Midnight Express, the greatest team in wrestling, don't say anything at all. That goes for Buzz and Brett Sawyer. They don't realize what we do for them either. We're going to make it so that they don't have to go to all these different cities and wrestle because we're going to put them out. The Rock and Roll Express, you ain't going to have to carry those big, heavy NWA World Tag Team belts around because we're going to take them away from you to keep from putting a strain on your meager little bodies. That's what we do for you people. You ought to appreciate it.
Jim Cornette, Johnny, the manager of the Midnight Express, and as I say, we'll be seeing them.
Not a loss for words. We got a match in the ring ready to go. Young Sam Houston's in there.
And I'm ready to see this one, and I want all you fans to watch it. Let's go to the ring as we're ready for action. Here is Sam Houston against the Golden Terra at the bell. Sam Houston still with that cast around that arm of his, and Johnny the youngster got that arm injured. He got it actually broken as the Andersons worked him over along with Tully Blanchard.
And Baby Doll was also involved in that unprovoked attack on Sam in the match that was already over. But it's not the first time that the Andersons have pulled a situation like that.
Well, look at him use that right hand. He is protecting that left arm and that left hand as much as possible, and he's sure coming strong with that right. Powerful right hands by the youngster. What an hour. Johnny, I'm looking forward again to seeing the Midnight Express because man, it is certainly not lost for words at Jim Cornette. We just heard him ranting and raving and going on about what fantastic athletes they are and what they're going to do to tag team wrestling.
It's a team and a match worth waiting for and looking at. Of course, the national tag team champions, the Andersons and Minnesota Wrecking Crew, will be here. The world tag team champions are also here. The Rock and Roll Express. And Sam Houston is really toting the mail in the ring. It's a great drop kick, arm drag, and you can really see the improvement in Sam Houston in the ring since he's been working with Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA. Just an unfortunate situation. The young man's career right now in a budding stage was hampered by that cast on his arm, put there by the Andersons and Tully Blanchard.
And he's got to be very careful, Johnny. It'd be very easy to go back and injure that arm and really to get it in worse shape than it is right now. So he's got to be careful with that during the match. Also, hard elbow, forearm here by the Golden Terra. Another one up beside the head of Sam Houston, and that one staggered him.
And now the Terra opens up the attack, full body slam, and misses that elbow drop.
We mentioned, fans, that during this hour you'll be seeing the Midnight Express. Also, you're going to see our national tag team champions, Ole and Arn Anderson. We talked about them too, Johnny.
And Nature Boy Buddy Landell with James J. Dillon will be here. I understand later you might get to talk to Tully Blanchard and Baby Doll.
Yep, hoping to and looking forward to that. An exciting hour, fans. We've got lots of action and excitement to send your way as the Terra and the Mat and Houston with those knee drops right down across the arm. Still driving a knee right into the arm of the Terra is Sam Houston.
You can tell not only has Sam matured in his wrestling in the ring, the way he conducts himself and the way he stays out of trouble now, but his body is developing, and it just has to be a great future in store for this man.
Johnny, let's don't forget this too. We talked about the Midnight Express, our world tag team champions, and here are two young men that are really taking the wrestling world by storm. The Rock and Roll Express. Also, we'll see them in action during this hour.
Sam Houston, and now the tempo picks up, duck side elbow, and drop kick right on the button.
as tall as he is, when he gets up into the air for the drop kick, he's got some power behind it. And it was a good flush drop kick right on the chin of the Golden Terra by Sam Houston.
Now he goes right back to that arm lock. And he'll work that part of the body. One part of the body he picks out there. And,
almost a count of 3. Heading for a count of 2. Now, Houston again having trouble keeping that shoulder off the mat.
The Terror has him in a precarious situation there. The referee, Tommy Young, I think, caught an infraction. Secured the leverage back to Sam Houston, and he hangs tenaciously onto the arm of the Golden Terror.
Again, here's Houston stacked up by the Terror. Again, we get a count of 2.
There we can see, Bob.
Well, he's fighting for his life now.
We can see the hand of the Terror with a handful of tights there. That's the infraction that Tommy Young had caught before. Just an exciting hour. A lot of tag teams around. A lot of tag teams have moved onto the scene, Bob.
Not just tag teams, but fantastic tag teams. Think of the combinations you've got when you can put guys like, well, we talked about our national champions, the Andersons, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. What about this Abdullah the Butcher and the Barbarian out of the camp of Paul Jones?
An unbelievable team put together by Paul Jones, and we can never count out the Russians. They'll never be out of the title picture.
With Houston into the corner, slammed into the turnbuckle a couple of times, and again now with the right hand. Here's the youngster fighting his way out of the corner.
He's doing well to just be throwing one arm in there, right hand.
Right over the Terror goes Houston.
Bulldog!
Down goes the Terror from the Bulldog. 1, 2, 3 as he hooked the leg.
And a win on national television for Sam Houston. I know he is thrilled right now getting himself a win on national television. Here you're going to see Sam Houston execute the Bulldog and takes it on to victory.
All right, fans, with us right here ringside, America's team, of course, Dusty Rhodes, the world's television champion, Magnum TA right here. Dusty, I don't know whether, and I don't think you've even heard of this and they're not aware of it, but I've heard there's an officer somewhere in the building looking for Baby Doll, that he's got papers that he's trying to serve on Baby Doll. Something, I believe, about some money and a credit card in Hawaii or somewhere overseas. I'm not sure what this is all about, Dusty.
Well, let me tell you what, Bob Collar, I know what it's all about. You know, Baby Doll took it upon herself to go to Honolulu, Hawaii, take my credit card, go over and entertain assorted men, drink assorted liquors, and be a wild woman, a Jezebel, if you will. That's what Baby Doll is. Now, I know nothing about an officer trying to serve her papers, but somebody got to serve somebody along the way. Ole and Ian Anderson got to serve somebody. They talk about how bad they are. Ian Anderson actually stands out here and say, I don't care if you're in a bar, if you're a truck driver, if you're a motorcycle rider, we are the toughest, baddest men in the world today all over this country. He does not mention Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, or Magnum TA on the same breath with these other people, because what they persecuted, whatever the word is, to Magnum TA, now the dudes will be paid in full, because Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, has no equal in this profession, none whatsoever. Now I know how to deal with pain, blues, and agony, and I'm going to deal with you the way you can be dealt with. And the world's television title is up for grabs against anybody, anytime, any place.
Magnum.
Well, I don't believe anything else can be said about the Andersons that Dusty hasn't already said. But there's a man out there that's got to be thinking about me, and that's Tully Blanchard.
More action from the ring right after we take this brief timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, here they are. Give them the welcome they deserve. The most dangerous tag team in professional wrestling. The men with more class than the PTA and the #1 cause of divorce in America today. Loverboy Dennis and beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
Express into the ring. The introduction from Jim Cornette. And Johnny, I don't think Jim Cornette got the kind of reception from the crowd that he had hoped for the Midnight Express.
But it was a flamboyant introduction for the Midnight Express. However, across the ring from them, they're going to find that the competition is going to be quite stiff in this match because there's World Junior Heavyweight Champion Denny Brown and the big hulk of a man, Starship Eagle.
That's right, American Starship Eagle, and he is a big one. And Denny Brown, well, Cornette now has got to embrace Beautiful Bobby as he's going to start against Denny Brown.
And this should be an action-packed match, Bob. The Midnight Express, a few times we've been able to see him really take the action to you, as does Denny Brown, so they should set a fast tempo.
Midnight Express and Jim Cornette. Johnny, they are right there and hot on the trail. They're after the World Championship belt.
Look at this, look at this.
And
A great
Cornette,
shot.
boy, he is very animated at ringside.
And of course, Bob, understand that they've had quite a few run-ins and some trouble with a team called the Sawyer brothers, the Mad Dogs Sawyer and Brett Sawyer, and the Midnight Express trying to eliminate those wrestlers to get at the Rock and Roll Express.
Beautiful move on the part of Denny Brown to come right out of that arm lock. And that brings to mind this, Johnny. You just saw Denny Brown with that fantastic move right here. I'd like to remind all of the young folks watching that these are professional athletes in the ring, these wrestlers. No youngster should try any of the moves or any of the holds that they see the professional wrestlers apply. They can be dangerous, Johnny. If you want to wrestle, go to your high school team, go to the gym, go to the Y college, but don't try them on your own.
Well, the action is really at a high pace right here. Several reversals, several escapes. Denny Brown comes out on his feet. The Midnight Express, Loverboy Dennis missed that headlock attempt. Both are on their feet, and they can't believe it. Denny Brown escaped that bunch of maneuvers right there. Now a big hunk of a man, Starship Eagle in.
There's the Eagle off of the rope, and now here you're going to see a different contrast in the styles. The Eagle so much larger than Denny Brown. Got to be quite a difference in the way they wrestle.
And even though he's as large as he is, still quick on his feet, a lot of quick moves on Starship Eagle, and he possesses a tremendous amount of strength. So will have a contrast when the tag is made between Eagle and Brown in this match.
All right, Loverboy Dennis has tagged Beautiful Bobby, who is now back in. He's got to have a go at the Eagle.
The Midnight Express, their reputation has preceded them. They have defeated a lot of great teams in the country, as has the Rock and Roll Express when they won the World Tag Team title.
The Eagle comes off. Oh, and look here. Beautiful Bobby trying to pick him up, and he couldn't do it. Look! Eagle throws him across the ring.
Halfway across the ring, and Cornette is upset outside. Look at him beating on the mat. And Beautiful Bobby retreats to the corner.
Jim Cornette's about to have a heart attack outside the ring.
What a confrontation with the Midnight Express against the Rock and Roll Express, Bob. You'd have Express against Express, kind of like Nature Boy Flair and Nature Boy Buddy Landell going at it.
All right, the tag. They're going to switch. The Express does switch. Now the Eagle caught as he had his back to Loverboy Dennis, who came in after the tag, goes down from the right.
Now he gets him. They softened him up a little bit, was able to then scoop that huge man up in a full body slam. Now, oh, what an elbow delivered by Loverboy.
It caught the Eagle flush across the face. Now with a front face headlock, he's going to hold him there for Beautiful Bobby.
Fast tags in the corner, keep a fresh man in on an opponent at all times. Kind of the style of the Rock and Roll Express. Quickness, speed, and fast tags.
An attempt at a pin, but the Eagle kicks out. Johnny, the Express, regardless of what you think of them as persons, they really know their way around the ring. They tag a lot. They're very quick. They're very
out to
agile.
the top turnbuckle. Standing.
Loverboy Bobby kicks the Eagle.
Goodness, and Eagle's
Off on the top rope with a drop kick.
And he's about 6 foot 8 or 9 inches tall. He still got him right on the button. 3/4 away across the ring. And a lot of teams better take note of some of these maneuvers.
Just a fantastic move off of that top turnbuckle.
And knee drops, still softening up the big man. And now Cornette outside, a lot more confident. Feels a lot more at ease as his men complete control. With a good left.
Well, the eyes slowed the Eagle down as he got ripped into the eyes. Here's Denny Brown. Look at Brown go now. After beautiful Bobby.
Denny Brown knows what to do. Body press. Save made by Loverboy Bobby just in the nick of time. And he had to be quick on that maneuver.
There's the Eagle in. And a save now by the Eagle as Brown was just about to be counted out.
Ooh. Double clothesline. One man on the outside. Here's a hook the leg. Lateral press. And a win for the Midnight Express. A great win. An impressive win. And a hard-fought battle. But yet the winners of Midnight Express win. Jim Cornette. We'll see it again. Maneuver that ended it for the team of Brown and Eagle. Look, they grasped hands and clothesline Denny Brown. The winners of Midnight Express.
Fans with me right now, Baby Doll. Baby Doll, have you heard there's an officer trying to serve some papers on you?
Yeah, supposedly they're going to serve me with papers. No one is going to serve me with papers. Rhodes gave me the credit card. I didn't know what to do. I called Tully up on the phone. He said, go to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii. I had a great time. The bills are yours, Rhodes. They're your responsibility. They're not mine.
Okay, right from the lips of Baby Doll, you heard it, fans, and we'll be back right after this timeout. All right, fans, and right here, the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez, and of course his partner right over here, Jimmy Valiant, the boogeyman, the boy from New York City. Hey, Manny, Paul Jones has got to be scared. He surrounded himself with three of the biggest men in wrestling. We're talking about Abdullah the Butcher, the Barbarian, and the Superstar.
He surrounded himself with a bunch of garbage. You know, every time something happens, somebody got to go get something big and bad and mean and awesome to take care of the Bull and his partner. Well, you know, I ain't no America's team, and I may not be anything that jumps over buildings in a single bound, but I get the job done, and I get the job right. So me and the Boogie come together, and you might call us a regular Cheech and Chong kind of team, but we came together for one thing, Paul Jones, to rid this area of you, Jack. And when it's said and done, baby, when the smoke is clear, you're going to find out that the Bull and the Boogeyman mean business. You better go get King Kong if he's available, Daddy.
I just picked up some garbage here. You can feed your animals, Paul Jones. This garbage right there. Oh, do right, do right, do right, do right. We are the do-right family. I'm talking about Boogie Woogie and Bully Bully. We like Coca-Cola. We all over, baby. Paul Jones, if it's a rumble you want, come and get it, Zeddy. Because me and the Bull, we are together, baby, forever. Just remember that, Daddy. Come and get us, baby. We're not hiding now, Daddy. Come on.
All right, to the ring now, fans, and in the ring, there he is, Nature Boy, Buddy Landel, and Mr. James J. Dillon. What about the Nature Boy, Johnny Weaver?
He's up again, Ron Rossi right here, and of course, a few words between Nature Boy and James J. Dillon, and you know, I think Nature Boy, Buddy Landel, would like nothing better than to rid the area of Ron Bass for J.J. Dillon. It was the Nature Boy who we see right there on our screen fixing his pretty golden locks that unseated Bass took over the #1 spot in James J. Dillon camp, and he would like to show James J. Dillon that he hasn't made a mistake by going with the Nature Boy. But can the Nature Boy, can he stand up to that claw?
And he's showing something right now as he throws Ron Rossi right out of the ring, goes down to land several blows on Rossi, and then quickly throws him back into the ring. You're right, the Nature Boy, Buddy Landel, but Ron Bass and that claw. When Ron Bass came back from the Orient, Ron Bass was a different fighter. He was a different individual, Johnny. He had that claw. It's a weapon that we haven't seen anybody get out of that in any of the matches that he had. That has got to prey on the mind of Buddy Landel and James J. Dillon.
And also in Nature Boy, Buddy Landel, James J. Dillon saw the opportunity that could rest in this man's talents to bring the world heavyweight title into the camp of James J. Dillon. The one thing that he has never accomplished in the wrestling profession, and the talent of Nature Boy Buddy Landel put with J.J. Dillon has certainly turned around the career of Buddy Landel, and he stands right now on the doorstep of Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Well, he certainly has no respect for the world champion. Johnny, he said some bad things about Nature Boy Ric Flair, who is our current world champion.
But his ability is shown in the ring with many victories can speak for itself. So Nature Boy Ric Flair cannot take Nature Boy Buddy Landel lightly.
Landel with the arm now reaching. Look at him just rub that arm right across the nose and the face of Ron Rossi. Back now with the chin. And Landel, Johnny, I can hear him all the way up here saying, tell JJ who the Nature Boy is.
Well, he's certainly out to prove to JJ that he did not make a mistake by picking up Landel, turning his career around, and he wants to bring JJ all the accolades that he's always wanted to get.
From a standing position, high to the air with a drop kick with Landel. Here is a man with a lot of ability and talent, and he's showing it to you right now against Rossi. High to the air with the elbow. Johnny, he got way up into the air to get all of the weight and leverage on that elbow, and now with a figure four.
And this could be a submission hold right here. J.J. Dillon anticipates that, comes into the ring. The figure four wins it for Nature Boy Buddy Landel.
Which also happens to be the favorite hold of Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Why the contrast of these two individuals so much alike and perfect the same hold. Here is Landel refusing to break it. We're going to see it again. We'll see that elbow executed extremely well by Nature Boy Buddy Landel, and it takes him on to another victory.
Fans, whenever you talk about champions and whenever you talk about great wrestlers in the same breath, you got to mention the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, the national tag team champions, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson.
When you talk about great wrestlers, you can mention us, mention a lot of people. You talk about the best wrestlers, then you talk about
maybe I should have said greatest.
The best, the greatest. Okay, that's fine.
Don't walk away from me.
He knows some words too, you know.
Okay, all right, Arn.
I got a few choice words for some guy running around here that's a little bow-legged, a little bit rambunctious in his comments, and I'm talking about you, Dusty Rhodes. You don't come on national television and call Double A a punk. Yeah, you're right. I go in a bar and I tell them how tough I am. You're right. I go to the mall. I tell them how tough I am. But I don't tell them with my mouth. I tell them with my actions. My actions that speak in the ring. When they cut that TV on and they got that big, thick salami sandwich and they're sitting down there shoving it down their neck, that's where I tell them how tough I am. And if you want to call me a punk, you come out in the ring and I'll establish what being a punk is. The only punk I've seen around here lately is that straw man you brought out called Sam Houston. Oh, yes, maybe he's improved quite a bit. Maybe he's the talk of the wrestling world. How much Sam Houston's improved. But the one thing he is right now is a one-armed bandit, and that is a direct result of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. So you want to tell people Arn Anderson's not as tough as he is, you get somebody to try me, and I'll show you how tough I am.
Only you aren't proud of what you did to Sam Houston.
Everything I do, I'm proud of. I'm proud of everything that I do. You know, when you take a couple of guys like the Andersons, you put us in there with a kid like Tully Blanchard, you've got three of the top wrestlers in the world right there in the same ring at the same time. And if a guy like Dusty Rhodes or Magnum TA or Sam Houston, if they're dumb enough to get in the ring against us, well, what can we say? Dusty Rhodes, I know you're plotting and you're planning. I know he's scared. Somebody says, no. Dusty Rhodes scared? He can't be scared. I know he's scared. You know why I know? Because the rumors are going around flying thick and fast that Dusty Rhodes wants to meet me in a match one-on-one. But that's not what makes me know he's scared. What makes me know he's scared is that he wants to meet me with a bull rope match. A bull rope with that 10-pound cowbell hidden in the middle. Well, I'll tell you what, Dusty, you're not the only one that knows how to use that cowbell. I'm ready anytime you are.
All right, fans, you're looking at the United States heavyweight champion and his perfect 10 in his corner, Baby Doll, with his opponent across the way, Big Joel Deaton.
And Baby Doll, of course, back after her 30-day stint with Dusty Rhodes. I understand she's sporting a rather large,
great big ring that
yes.
Tully Blanchard gave her. And it is a beautiful thing to behold.
And some say that she presented Tully with a U.S. belt. There's question about that, but
all right, Tully Blanchard now
nevertheless.
backing Deaton into the ropes. And we're going to get a clean break. Deaton had his arms and his hands high in the air. Very quickly, Blanchard backed away.
And Joel Deaton snaps in quickly with the side headlock. Of course, we saw Sam Houston earlier with that broken arm. Tully Blanchard was involved in that with the Anderson. And now Tully quickly. It got a little hot for her. Hot and heavy in the ring. And Blanchard out on the floor.
He took off. Here is a man, no, Johnny, in recent years has had tremendous success. Tully Blanchard held the World Television Championship longer than any other wrestler and now holds the U.S. Championship. That's got to speak for ability with a big capital A.
And he's got a lot of rivals in line for that belt. Magnum TA is certainly never to be counted out of the picture. Dusty Rhodes really wants to get a hold of Tully Blanchard. The Raging Bull, several others, Jimmy Valiant. Blanchard, with his tactics that he possesses and uses in the ring, many for a long, long time held on to that World Television title. Now he's got the U.S. title.
Tully with that toe hold, reached down, got the tights, trying to get a little more leverage and pressure to keep that shoulder to the mat. Each time after a count of two, Deaton will get one shoulder up.
Referee Tommy Young caught that infraction, gives the warning to the U.S. heavyweight champion, but the damage is done to that leg. And also there's damage being done by Baby Doll. Distraction up from behind.
Ooh. He had him roll up, but he couldn't hold him.
Brought right back quick as the cat. And he's always possessed that speed. Is Tully Blanchard right back on top of the action, and he has the upper hand.
Johnny,
That's what makes him the champion.
We talk about intensity in a lot of the athletes, and it looks like Tully Blanchard also wrestling with a new intensity as he has really gone out now and really turning it on against Deaton.
Well, he's going to have intensity because a lot of intense fellows are breathing down his doorstep, and there is the Baby Doll. She's enjoying the situation at the present moment.
Deaton through the ropes.
Tremendous fall by Deaton through those ropes. They whiplashed it. Oh, and a kick by Baby Doll from the floor. A kick by Baby Doll into the ribs.
She got that big boot with a big kick right into the ribs of Joel Deaton.
And coming from the blind side and unexpected, that could do a lot of damage, Bob.
Now here's Blanchard got Deaton as he slams him to the corner now and into the turnbuckles as they slug it out in the corner.
It looks like a security.
He's got her handcuffed to the ring rope.
Hey, a security
There's the
person.
bell. Tully Blanchard has won the match, but look at this.
Wow, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. How
Baby
about
Doll.
that? Baby Doll, look at her. She's hooked to the rope. She can't get loose.
Baby Doll is about to go mad, handcuffed to the ropes, and out of the arena he goes, leaving Baby Doll there.
Blanchard flat on his back. Baby Doll can't get loose. And Bob, you got our security person.
You're talking about Magnum TA. Magnum, you've got her handcuffed. You've left Tully Blanchard flat in the ring, and she's handcuffed to the rope.
I never want to be one to disturb things the way they're supposed to be going on. But I told Tully Blanchard what I was going to do to him. Tully Blanchard, you've been served notice by Magnum TA. Now that belt doesn't belong to you, and you know it. And now you know you got to deal with me in no uncertain terms. You can run, you can hide. Not you, not Baby Doll. Nobody's going to stop me from getting what's rightfully mine. And if it wasn't for ruining this show, I'd leave her out there handcuffed that thing. I'm not going to let her go. If you want her loose, you let her loose. I'm not letting her loose. I'm leaving.
Magnum TA, there's the key. She's still handcuffed, fans, to the ropes. What a bizarre twist. Your perfect 10 is still
Yeah, listen to your voice. You're all Mr. Laffy Joe, huh? Well, I tell you what, if you're part of this, that's the lowest thing I've ever seen. Magnum, that's just like you. That's why I beat you right in the middle of the ring with one punch. Because you're a backstabbing, rotten, low-down, low-life human being. Anybody that would handcuff the perfect woman in the world to the ring. I tell you what, Bob Caudle, if I wasn't a perfect gentleman and the man, oh, Bob Caudle, you're lucky. Magnum TA, get in the ring, come on. I'll put the United States heavyweight title up there. You want it to be yours? Get in the ring, bring your buddy with you. I don't care. That's the most humiliating thing I've ever seen. Where is the key at, Bob Caudle?
Magnum said he was. Well, wait a minute. Magnum said he was not gonna. He was not.
I don't care what Magnum wants.
You gotta go do it yourself.
Magnum, you will pay for this. You and your glass jaw. I tell you what.
Tully Blanchard, fans, there she is, Baby Doll, the perfect 10, handcuffed to the rope. Tully Blanchard, you're talking about being upset, being irate, being mad, out of control. Tully Blanchard, just as mad as any human being could be, has got the key. How ironic it would be if it didn't work. But there he is as he unlocked the handcuff, and Baby Doll now is leaving the arena. She has got to be a little bit humiliated by what happened. She's got to feel very, very bad about that as she now and Tully Blanchard both leave the arena going out. Magnum TA, what a turn of events, fans. When Magnum TA came charging into the ring, not only did he handcuff Baby Doll to the rope, but also coming in to put the belly-to-belly on Tully Blanchard. We'll be back. We'll have more action from ringside right after this. Fans, here's the man that's still looking for the golden road to Moscow, the big Russian, Nikita Koloff, one of the most powerful men in the world, Nikita.
You may be one smart American. Nikita, you take a look. No see Uncle Lyman Crusher. You see Uncle Lyman Crusher. No sleep at the night. No going to sleep. They'll defeat you and the world belt back around the waist. Now, Ric Flair, Nikita, no, you no sleep at the night too. Maybe you neck hurt from Nikita single. Maybe you arm hurt. Maybe you leg. This good. Nikita going to hurt you little more, a little more. Then Nikita defeat you, and Nikita world champion. Beware Russian nightmare.
Nikita Koloff, the big Russian, fans. Let's go to the ring now. You're going to look at champions in the ring as the national tag team champions, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ole and Arn Anderson. Here they are, Johnny.
And championship belts have been synonymous with the Anderson wrestling tag teams. Right now, the national heavyweight tag team titleist, and of course, they're aiming at the world title held by the Rock and Roll Express, but they've served notice on a couple men that may stop that.
Boy, I'll tell you, this thing with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, and how about America's team, Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes, and let's don't leave out the youngster Sam Houston. Add Tully Blanchard in on the other side too. You've got 6 right there that are going to boil any pot, Johnny.
And the confrontation between them should be nothing less than sensational. All are great athletes, great competitors in the ring, and you watch the Rock and Roll Express, you watch the Midnight Express with their styles of speed and quick tags. Right here, you watch the Andersons. Deliberate is just the word. Tenacious on a hold, a lot of wrestling ability, and they will switch often, but they're tenaciously on a part of that body and just wear the man down until they could get usually a submission, Bob.
They will stay with it, and they'll work with it. They'll work as close to their corner as they can, and they'll try to cut the opponent off. Arn missed on that one. Mark Fleming got over and was able to make the tag, but you saw how quickly now Arn Anderson comes back toward his corner.
And they can get vicious also. We saw this here particular maneuver happen to Sam Houston. Of course, we saw the viciousness of the Andersons.
Only driving on the arm there, Johnny. You just can't take the tremendous pain of that move.
And there they are, the national tag team champions, Ole and Arn Anderson. We saw viciousness also come out of these two individuals when they worked over Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes. And here you're going to see a favorite maneuver of theirs off that top turnbuckle into the elbow, shoulder section, and the winner, the Anderson.
Already during this hour, fans, you've seen a lot of champions. An uncrowned champion right here, according to this man, the man that's destined to be the world's champion. And according to J.J. Dillon, Nature Boy Buddy Landell is going to be the greatest of world champions.
Well, I'm sure he's looking forward to that day, which we all know is eventually going to come. But there's a little situation that has taken place today that I think deserves mention, and I noticed that you've avoided making comments about it, and I'm talking about the situation with Magnum TA of Tully Blanchard. Now, everybody knows that Magnum TA won the United States Heavyweight Championship belt from a great athlete. Then Tully Blanchard came along, said he would do what he did, and that's to take the most prestigious title, second to the World's Heavyweight Championship, the United States Heavyweight Champion. Now that puts Magnum TA back in the role of a challenger. So now what do you do? What way do you go? Well, being the great gentleman that I am and the great mind that I am, all we keep doing is signing open contracts. I don't care if it's in Chicago, if it's in Denver, if it's in Miami, if it's in Springfield, Massachusetts, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, or Australia. It doesn't matter to me. We'll take on all comers anytime, any place, because I call it the domino effect. Because here's all these stumbling blocks, and I'm talking about Cowboy Ron Bass too, because he is a stumbling block. All stumbling blocks to the World's Heavyweight Championship. And the domino effect is, as he bins one and kicks him over, he falls down, intimidates the next one that he's wobbling, he goes over top of him, and we keep going right down the line till eventually somebody's going to run out of dominoes, and at the end of the line, there's going to be the World's Heavyweight Champion himself, Ric Flair, and then there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. But I'm a little bit embarrassed for Magnum TA that he would stoop so low as to disguise himself as some kind of a security officer, to take a perfect lady like Baby Doll and handcuff her like some kind of common criminal to the bottom rope and leave her out there, and then come in behind Tully Blanchard under the guise of some kind of law official, jumping Tully Blanchard when he didn't have an even chance. Magnum, if that's the way you go about reestablishing yourself and challenging yourself to get to the top.
Fans, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, the National Tag Team Champions, Arn, Ole Anderson. Ole, you saw just a few minutes ago how tough Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes, America's team, are going to be. Magnum TA can be a rough, tough, mean, rough individual.
Well, let me ask you this. All the things I've been accused of, Arn or Gene, whoever were accused of, the Anderson brothers, you ever see me have to disguise myself to get in the ring? No, no, no. The only disguise I ever wore was a belt like this, telling everybody in the world that I was a champion, that I was the best. We've always been that way. The Andersons have always been the best. And I hear rumors that Dusty Rhodes is trying to get one of us by himself in the ring. Why? Why one? Well, maybe he doesn't have any partner that he's really has any faith or any trust in. Well, what happened to Magnum TA? Scared? Maybe not enough support? I tell you what, Dusty, the rumor is cowbell, bull rope match. Come on, anytime, anywhere, I'm ready.
There they are, the National Tag Team Champions, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew fans. Let's go to the ring now. The rock and roll music bringing into the arena to the tremendous roar of the crowd. The two young men that really create excitement wherever they go, the world champions, the Rock and Roll Express.
You can say that again, Bob, and there's a lot of teams you can talk about for full hours and hours on these television programs, but those two men right there, the Rock and Roll Express, sit at the top of the ladder of tag team wrestling, the world tag team champions.
The Rock and Roll Express here against George South and Jim Jeffers, and South now will start.
And our crowd really love these two individuals. The staccato chant of rock and roll has went up in our arena here as the Rock and Roll Express take the action.
Well, they're like a breath of fresh air on professional wrestling.
They have really ignited and excited a lot of fans in every arena and coliseum in the country that they go to. And what an honor we've had, Bob. Magnum TA certainly asserted himself as the picture of the scene of the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. Look at that moves by the rock and roll.
The knee with the knee lift, flooring George South. Now the tag. We're going to get a look at Jeffers. He runs in right into the headlock.
And they're setting him up. And they're setting him up with teamwork, Bob. Everything they do together. That's what makes them successful.
Beautiful drop kick. They get so high into the air and they get so much power behind that drop kick. And Johnny, we've never seen anybody get up from the double drop kick when they land that. The timing on that is just simply fantastic.
On the break, Jeffers gains an advantage right here. A fine move by Ricky Morton on the Rock and Roll Express here. Oh, and the man runs into trouble, George South. He gets tough, taken overhead, staggering to the rope, corner action galore.
He got right up in front of Gibson outside of the ring, and Gibson, Robert Gibson with a big, hard right hand, floored him into the corner.
Listen to our crowd. As the action settles back now, and South and Jeffers seems like they decided they want to slow the tempo down, but we talked about a fast tempo, we talked about quickness, we talked about speed. They've got it, and they exhibit it. And that's why they are World Tag Team Champions.
Johnny, things are just building to the explosive stage, though, with Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA. And when Magnum does what he did earlier, when he comes out, handcuffs Baby Doll to the ropes like he did, you know, when you do something to Baby Doll, I think that irritates Tully Blanchard more than anything else you could possibly do. He gets madder about that than he does when something happens to him.
An explosive stage. Looks like Ole Anderson and Dusty Rhodes are right at that point too. Challenging the bull rope matches. And of course, if Hard's going to interfere, then I'm sure Magnum will be standing at Dusty's side. We saw Big Nikita issuing warning to Ric Flair, and he is not satisfied yet, and I think he is one heck of a threat to Ric Flair.
He's got to be. He's a threat to anybody. As big and as strong as he is a threat to anybody at any time. And here's Jeffers up.
Another team situation. Double hip toss. Double hip toss. And South gets caught. Double drop kick.
The move that we had talked about, the timing on it so much, and it's so important, and they just do it right to the second each time.
A Rock and Roll Express, another great victory.
The Barbarian, Abdullah the Butcher, Paul Jones. Paul, I have heard from very reliable sources such as Jimmy Valiant and such as the Raging Bull that Paul Jones must really be getting scared to surround himself with three of the biggest men in the world.
Let me tell you this. I give the Raging Bull and Jimmy Valiant credit for one thing. They said that I have three of the biggest men in the world. Well, that's semi-true and semi-false because I have the biggest men in the world. And I'm talking about the two behind me and superstar Billy Graham. Now, another thing. They up here trying to brainwash people and saying they formed a partnership and they are going to come after Paul Jones's men. Well, that couldn't be further than the truth, because the truth is they are scared. They get together trying to protect each other because I declared war. I put together Paul Jones' Demolition Tour, and we're going on tour starting yesterday. And let me tell you something else. Jimmy Valiant, you embarrassed me so bad. But with the two biggest men in the world, the wrestling world behind me, I can accomplish everything I want to. And let me tell you this. The reason I surround myself by the biggest men is because I love winners. Nobody loves a loser. Now let me tell you something else. I told Dusty Rhodes that I was going to get even with him. He interfered in one of my matches when we had Jimmy Valiant in there getting even. Now, Dusty Rhodes, you're the world TV champion, the world, the biggie. Well, we challenge you, Dusty Rhodes. Take your pick right behind me. Which one do you want? Put up that world television title right here on national television, and let's see. Bring it out.
Fans, that's going to do it. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.